Very, very important for scholars. This is the only site in ancient Israel which yielded manuscripts from the Second Temple period. So the archaeology and the scrolls from the caves can be studied together. There is no other site like that, where we have documents from the time and the ruins of the site. This man, Father Roland DeVoe, was entrusted he was the first chief editor of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Very famous scholar, a Dominican, you can see there, a priest. And he was the one who excavated Qumran. So for archaeologists, this is a very fascinating site. First of all, they lived out in the desert. How would they get water? Through a brilliant system of waterworks. They managed to have channels whereby the water ran from the mountains in the rainy season, and they accumulated water. And they needed a lot of water, as you can see by the pools and cisterns at Qumran. Now, of course, they needed water to drink, but what is of great interest to Christians and Jews, they also needed water for baptism. Let me show you. This is a fascinating picture. One person said to me, "Oh, Dr. Flynn, what a pity that it seems to be a bit ruined. It looks a bit broken." Well, my friends, this one picture is absolutely fascinating. First of all, the stairs are broken. Josephus, the historian, tells us that in 31 BC, there was a huge earthquake. So we can date that break to 31 BC. Secondly, you may notice there are stairs running down into the pool, into the cistern. We believe now that what happened is people were baptized for the remission of sin. According to the scrolls, a sinner would go into the water, and what is very interesting is the railings. Do you see the railings on the top? They look like strange poles. Well, the sinner would descend into the waters on the one side, and then after being cleansed, would ascend. But it's like two escalators, right? You have one route for the sinner, and after he's been plunged in the water, he would go on the other route. So those stairs and the bars, they do mean a lot. Here is an actual quote from the Qumran documents. There's not a biblical scroll. It's called the community rule. No one may enter the water unless he has repented of his evil, because uncleanness clings to all transgressors of his word. Isn't that interesting? People have wondered, was John the Baptist from Qumran? The baptism for repentance, where does this come from? Well, we do know that the Qumranites were not baptized by someone. The sinner would enter the water himself, and then he would be cleansed, and he would ascend the stairs by himself. So that's an important difference. If you want to find a connection to the New Testament, John the Baptist is very interesting, because the ideas are very similar. They had an assembly hall where they met, where they gathered, which you can visit today. Even graves. The graves, very, very interesting. I have such a fascinating story, but I'm not going to tell you today. But you may know that it's illegal to excavate bodies in Israel because bodies are considered unclean. And so people cannot actually dig up graves. But a few were dug up. It's a very interesting story. But I'd like to focus tonight on this one room. This is the Scriptorium. This is where scrolls were copied. We have not only the room, we now have the plaster benches at which they sat, and we have the remains of inkwells. There's only 4 inkwells that have been found from this ancient period, and they were found at Qumran. So we have the very means of production.